Welcome, Ann.
Thank you, Dave.
We're sitting here with Ann Scott Markle up at Imagine Health in Columbia Falls today, and we're going to have a conversation with her, with the community. So, welcome again, Ann. Ann, would you please give me a little bit of information about how long you've been here and how you started and how you got to this point?
Okay. I started working with people on emotional wellness back in the mid-'80s in a co-counseling community that went awry. And there were about 200 people that were supporting each other's mental and emotional health in the valley. But none of us really knew enough to keep that community together, so I went to graduate school.
Okay.
And that was in the early 90s, and became a professional. And I had a practice in Kalispell for 9 years. And then Columbia Falls is a changing place. I've lived south of Columbia Falls for 30-some years. And for probably the first maybe 20, I didn't want anything to do with Columbia Falls. And I made that public a long time ago and got a lot of grief for it in the newspaper.
Right.
When I made that statement. But it was true for me. Columbia Falls has changed enormously. It's now this wonderful little town that's really vibrant, has a lot of things going.
Yes.
And so I kind of became a pioneer. I bought a building here in 2000, and then in 2007 put this addition on that created Imagine Health.
Right.
I think it's one of the nicest buildings in Columbia Falls, and really frontier in terms of what we offer here.
Yes.
Things that have never been offered in Columbia Falls before.
Yes. Let me just go back for a minute. So, did you grow up in the valley, or?
You know, I had, I'm fourth generation Flathead Valley, but I grew up in Great Falls and spent summers here.
Oh, okay.
I had a lot of relatives. We had a place on Whitefish Lake.
Okay.
So we'd come over after school got out in June and stay here until school started.
Okay. So your undergraduate degree was in counseling, or?
No, it was in agriculture.
Okay, so.
And so and I was working for the Department of Agriculture right out of college.
So you have farm hands at heart. That group.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Yeah.
And feel like if we all knew our farmer, and if we all farmed, at least for a season, we'd be a different culture.
Right.
We would know something about life and death.
Great. So when you were in Great Falls, did you, after college, did you go to college in Great Falls?
No, I went to Bozeman.
Oh, okay, so you're a Bobcat fan then. Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, I really can't. I went to one Bobcat game when I was there.
Okay. And then after you finished your undergraduate in agriculture, did you come back over here and work?
Well, when I got a job with the Department of Agriculture as a petty bureaucrat.
Yes.
Then I met my now husband.
Okay.
And I was living in central Montana. And we decided, there was a certain point in my career where it was either climb that bureaucratic ladder,
right,
or go farm. So we bought land in south of Columbia Falls.
Okay.
And that was 1978.
Wow.
And we built a house and planted 2,700 trees and bushes to create a little shelter belt and start farming.
It's beautiful. I've been to the studio for Robert. So Robert is your husband, and I've met him. So could you sort of tell us a little bit about his background?
Well, he's a farm boy from Sidney, Montana.
Okay.
And he was working in California in industry at Procter & Gamble, and decided to come back to Montana in 1970 and started as a student at the community college. Had never been to college, but started, I think he was probably 35.
At the community college at Flathead?
Yes,
oh,
but it was
okay,
downtown.
Right.
You're too new here.
No,
That.
but I also know that the Flathead Community College had a national ranking for a women's cross country and track team, primarily cross country, and there's a book called Out of the Mist about that era, and that's for 2 years they were nationally ranked.
Wow.
So that was a little bit of history for you.
Right. And so he was going to be a school teacher for elementary kids. and he started taking pottery as a way to just de-stress from the academics. And within 2 or 3 quarters, he was teaching at night and taking pottery classes during the day.
Wow.
Then he went into business with his pottery instructor and has been doing that ever since.
Oh, that's great. What kind of pottery does he do primarily?
Functional.
Functional.
High fire.
Cups and saucers and
stoneware
and things like that. And
yes, my coffee cup.
we'll put a little plug in for Bob then. Does Robert sell it all over, or does he have certain things that...
He has 4 galleries in Montana, and I think anyone would take his entire production.
Great.
But he spreads it out a little.
So, can you buy directly from Robert?
He has a little studio there.
Okay.
And a showroom.
And how would a person contact him if they wanted to?
Well, he's very low tech. He is not on the internet.
Okay.
So the phone number's in the phone book.
Okay, great.
Robert Markle.
Okay, great. Congrats. Okay, so we're going to sort of fast forward a little bit. So when you decided to come back over here, what did you have in mind when you came back over here?
You mean came back from Central Montana?
Central Montana, correct.
Well, to farm. We had a little farm. We had our milk goats and our chickens, and we actually grew flowers commercially.
Okay, so you were supplying people commercial flowers around here?
Well, it was a dry flower market, so our market was Maine and Nevada.
Maine and Nevada. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean Maine, the state of Maine.
Yes.
A lot of our flowers we put on a train and shipped to Maine.
Wow.
And a lot of our flowers we put on a truck and shipped to Nevada.
Nevada? Wow.
And it was a fun time, but you really had to work hard all summer.
Yes.
And when our son was little, we decided that we'd rather play in the summer than work. It was too short. So
Okay.
we quit farming. We just now have hay and
Right.
chickens.
Yeah.